What up, though? It's Dwan Dandridge, Black Leads Detroit, and we are back with another episode of Speak for Yourself. Of course, we have none other than Saginaw's swollenest, the Ken Elkins. What up, though?
What's happening?
And some very special guests, as always, for you. We have Cydney and Kevin Hill from the Austin Foundation.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself.
Thank you.
So, Cydney and Kevin, the way that we typically introduce our guests is we invite y'all to introduce yourselves. We want y'all to let the audience know whatever you want them to know about yourselves, and we don't want to do it any injustice. So let's start it off with you, Cydney, and then we'll go with Kevin.
So I'm wearing a couple different hats, y'all, but today I'm wearing the Austin Foundation hat, and it's taken from my experience at the University of Michigan. It was very, very interesting. I graduated from University Prep Science and Math somewhere around here in the city, and I got a full ride up there, and it was a lot, sometimes being the only black girl in the classroom. Because you go from a predominantly black high school to a predominantly white school, and you're like, what's going on? What's happening to me? So from that experience, I took over the Austin Foundation. My mom started it, and essentially what we're doing now is making sure students don't experience the same thing I experienced when I went to Michigan. I said that I was going to be a computer scientist. Did I fail out of everything? Yes, I did. I failed out of all of the math classes, all of the computer science classes, and I was in those classes really feeling like lost and confused. And I hated feeling like that because everybody else was like, oh, you can do this, but I'm feeling all of this stuff, you know? So I'm taking my experience from there and making sure that students who look like me, who look like us, don't have to experience that. So I ended up graduating with sociology. I got my master's at Wayne State in learning technology and design, so creating curriculum and things like that. So again, students don't experience the same thing. So we're working at the Austin Foundation. We're making sure that students who are coming out of high school, they understand the different things that they could be exposed to. So if they want to go to the workforce, if they want to go to college, if they want to get into skills trades, we're making sure that they don't have to go through all of that, because I didn't know what I was doing when I was up there. So.
Love it. So
see Kevin looking at his watch like she don't let me talk. Hey, Kevin was like,
he gonna get his time.
That's
just my experience.
I thought we were doing introductions.
That's my intro. That's my intro.
Look, we said introduce yourself the way you want. Yeah, hey.
I thought I knew what I was doing. I ain't know what I was doing.
So Kevin.
I don't know what an introduction is.
I don't know what an introduction is anymore.
All right.
Yeah. But what do you want, or how do you want our audience and viewers to know you, Kevin?
Well, like I said, with that introduction, but my experience comes from Wayne State. I didn't finish, and I'm one of those who just jumped out into the job marketplace. So I was in school. I couldn't grasp the concept of me staying in school for so long and then going out and working for somebody else. And I couldn't grasp the understanding of me spending my time here and not making any money and being broke. I didn't like the idea of a broke college student. And so I was like, I need to do something that's going to make me some money now. So like I said, I jumped out into the job market, didn't like that. I had a job in downtown Detroit, and I overheard some people talk about how they were getting a pay raise. I was like, okay, well, I need to change this, because why am I not getting a pay raise? And I was assisting people coming in, learning, teaching them how to do their job. And I was just like, okay, where's my money? So I ventured out into real estate. I'm a realtor, and since then I've taken the reins on with Cyd, and we're doing the Austin Foundation based on our experiences in the job market and at school.
What was the thought behind the Austin Foundation? Where did the idea for the Austin Foundation actually come from?
Like originally, or?
Yeah, originally.
Do you want to take it?
Yeah. So originally, what happened was our grandparents died 06 and 07 January, a year after each other. My mother started the organization because they did not have the proper life insurance policy. My grandfather did not know that he had accidental life for my grandmother. So my mom originally started it as a way to kind of help folks in that area.
I think that one of the things that we can appreciate is that that's the way a lot of organizations in Detroit are birthed. Somebody goes through something themselves, and it's a rough experience, right? And then they want to help other people avoid the same experience, right? So they create this thing. I think that's what we've done at Black Leads Detroit. Ken and I have had some experiences when it comes to running organizations and running businesses, right?
But you know, now as I've taken it over, we've kind of just done the same thing, but just in the educational sense. So
what is it looking like now?
So you pivoted to young people now, right? Before the focus wasn't young people.
And that's
correct?
been the tricky thing about it. It's always been about young people, and she's
Okay.
always had like the educational sense.
Okay.
But that's just the real reason why the organization started, was
Okay.
just based off of her parents and just kind of their experience. So now what we're doing, we're kind of taking our experiences as, you know, the oldest 6, we're the oldest 2 of 9.
Okay. Oldest of 2 of 9.
2 of 9.
Nice,
Nine.
nice,
Wow.
nice.
Who the oldest?
She is.
She the oldest out of
He's just
everybody?
the tallest. He's just the tallest.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the second. Yeah,
You the second
I'm
oldest?
the first, but the second.
Okay.
First boy.
First boy.
First girl.
Okay.
So now what we're doing with Becoming Young Adults, that's our first program. And it was so funny because I remember being on campus at Michigan, and I remember I got my first refund check, right? Do y'all know what a refund check is?
Yeah.
He does. I know vicariously, not because
Okay.
I've ever received one, but
Okay, so
But he
when-
spent his girlfriends when she was in college, who is now his wife. So he do
don't
he do
think
know
that
about
was-
he
Never.
know about refund
Okay.
checks too.
So essentially, when you are full tuition scholarship up there, whatever school you go to, the school is paying for you to do everything. So we got a refund check. With my first refund check, I was not doing what I was supposed to do. I was buying clothes. I was buying shoes. I should have been buying a computer, some coats, some socks, some boots. So
you went and got fly.
I went and got fly. Why was I doing that? But I'm 18 and didn't nobody tell me anything, right? I did have a bank account, but I didn't necessarily know what to do with my money as a young college student because my parents, they met at the plant at 4.
Okay.
So I'm the first generation college student.
I
And
like how she keeps saying "my," like we're not related.
She looked at you before she said it too.
Right.
She looked at you first and was like,
said,
my parents.
Like we're not all in the same.
Right.
All right.
I think Kevin would have said our
I
parents
think he would have too.
because he shares them with you.
Yeah.
But
Just a little.
Just a little bit. But apparently it's only
okay.
Cydney's
Right,
parents.
right.
though,
They're her
and
parents.
I
grandparents.
am so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyway,
It's their-
our parents, they met at the plant at 4, and they just worked. So I was the first one to go, and I didn't know what I was doing with my money. So essentially what Becoming Young Adults was and what it is now is we're taking those different experiences that we had on campus. So the first one was students said that they want to get apartments. So we go through different simulations of filling out an apartment application. Okay, you want to go and do X, Y, and Z. Well, read this pay stub, read this bank account statement. They don't know how to do any of that right now inside of the classroom. So that's what we're doing now in terms of mental health. We're talking with mental health experts, going through stress, anxiety, depression. I had all of those things, didn't necessarily know because that was my
not
first
diagnosed, right?
Exactly. First time experiencing all of those different things. And of course, financial literacy and wellness, what that means as a young adult, because you don't know what you're doing. Budgeting, needs versus wants, savings, credit cards. You know, scam is a big thing in the city. We want to make sure kids are not doing that
Right.
as they're growing up. So
And so, in the Austin family, in the Austin Foundation, is it just you two out of the 9 siblings that work for the Austin Foundation, or are there other siblings involved in it as well?
It's 6 of us.
Just involved in the Austin Foundation?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Nice, so 6 of y'all. So how was that working with your family, especially for a driven purpose mission, but still working with your family and your siblings? How does that work out? Clearly, she hogs up the parents, so man. I see how that works.
Go ahead. I'm going to just sit over here. I'm going to scoot over here. Go ahead.
No, you can still talk. I'm just, you don't have to hog. It's our. Change. Right.
I'm sorry.
So working with the siblings it's your family. So sometimes you might get a little aggressive. Not aggressive, but try to push them in the right direction. And, you try to get them to do certain tasks. And it's fun. I'm going to say that. It's fun.
It looks like it's fun.
By fun, it sounds like you mean frustrating at times.
Yeah.
Well, it does get frustrating at times. And sometimes, what is that? The dynamics of, I'm the oldest, and that comes into play a little, but we try to just work through everything, talk through everything, and try to come up with the best idea, and try to push through.
Okay. So it sounds like he's talking about you. Because he's the second oldest. So there's only one other person older than him. There's only one other person older than him. There's only one other person older than him. And he says sometimes they push the dynamic, well, I'm the oldest. That would be you.
That's your assumption. That's not what's happening.
It is an assumption because I'm not talking about her.
Okay,
So there we
right.
go. I think that because I worked in the corporate space. And working in the corporate space, I don't know if y'all have worked corporate, it's a very interesting dynamic.
What do you think you...
I don't know. I don't want to...
It's corporate. It's black corporate, but it's corporate.
Listen, but like
go ahead.
I'm just
messing with you.
Right out of college, I did not know what that actually meant, right? Because they were like, oh, everybody go apply for jobs, apply for this. And I was doing that. So I will never forget my first day of the job. I sent an email to this lady with all of the internal things that we were saying about her to her.
Whoa.
Didn't know that I was doing that, though, because I was not trained in the corporate space. So it's like we were like, oh, yeah, we're going to email her this. Oh, she's saying X, Y, and Z. Didn't know that when you, scroll down in your emails, all of that.
She was on the reply list?
Yeah, I didn't know she was on a reply list. I did not know.
Oh, my goodness.
So I would say from that.
First and last day.
Right.
My manager, he was like, oh, it's like, okay, you don't have to worry about it. But, I'm sitting here like, oh, my goodness, why would I do that? But it's just I would say from that experience to, working with my siblings, it has just been a lot more, it's not more anxiety-inducing. Because when I was working with all of those different folks, it was just a lot because you had to make sure you were right with this person, right with that person. But because I know everybody, it's a lot simpler to be like, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can we do this? It's just a lot easier to communicate because that corporate communication style is super, super hard to navigate if that's your first time in it. So it's a lot easier.
I think a benefit would be, as you're mentioning, because you know where kind of people are coming from, you would hope if they're your family, right? Especially your siblings. Mm-hmm. And that they got your best interest in mind. Like, Dwan and I relationship, no matter what we deal with, it may cause some animosity. We both know that we got each other's back, each other's best interest in mind and the best interest of the company. So you don't have to put none of that other stuff in a way, saying they trying to sabotage me, they trying to do this, they trying to do that.
Exactly.
And you can just focus on whatever it is you're discussing and solve it, right? So would you say that it's something similar to that where we're working with your siblings, you can get to solutions a little bit quicker?
It is, and finding people, because there's so many of us too, that really is a thing that is honestly just a blessing. Yeah. Because being able to get 6 adults whenever you need them, where can you find that at? Nowhere, because everybody, we got this we doing this, we doing that. You got to get on people's calendars. So being able to work towards the same goal and have that many people on your side is absolutely amazing. And I couldn't ask for a better team, honestly, because who else am I going to find? Because then you're dealing with this person and that person's timeline and this and that. So it's amazing. No complaints, honestly.
And again, the Austin Foundation has been around for how long?
13 years.
13 years.
13?
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
And again, congratulations on taking your mother's vision and moving that forward. I know we hope that our kids do the same thing.
Or somebody's kids.
Oh, somebody's kids
Somebody's
with
kids,
our
somebody's
vision,
kids,
you
man.
know. So,
Yeah.
so good job on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I did want to talk a little bit about where you're going with the Austin Foundation, right? We talked about what started it. We talked about some of the things that make you passionate about the work that you do with your own experiences. Where do you see the Austin Foundation going? What's the vision for it?
She about to get big.
Okay.
She's growing so fast, y'all, that we say all the time at the house, like,
We're being dragged.
she's
Yes.
Being dragged.
As
In a-
in, you know,
in a
it's
good way.
like a kite pulling us and we have no control over it.
That's a good spot to
Yes.
be in. Yeah.
It's a great spot to be in. So she is moving so fast. It's like as soon as we connect with this person, we got this going on. As soon as we do this partnership, we have this going on. So she is moving so fast. And again, it's nothing but an absolute blessing to be in the position that we are in and being so young at that. So in the future, we definitely want our own space. We want our own building. I want to be able, I'm going to be able to have a building, a training space, a training center that I'm able to take folks in, is either that's young people, if that's older people, and train them and expose them to the different industries that they want to be in, whatever they want to be in. And I want to take them earlier. So we know that middle school, elementary school, kids are like sponges, right? They pick up everything that you're saying. So being able to work with them that young, work with them from elementary, middle, high school, all the way to an adult, and just stay with them. So I've been saying that essentially we want to be their big cousins, you know?
I like that. I like that.
And make sure that they're okay.
9 is not enough. 9 of us is not enough. We need to grow this family.
No, seriously. I want to be able to have a space where folks are able to come to us in any situations that they're in and be like, hey, we need something for this. Can y'all be here? Can y'all support us? And have those resources and spaces available for them, because I did not have that at all, and I want somebody else to have that because we've been struggling with that.
Now, you mentioned that you feel like the organization is being dragged in regards to the success. What I want to lift up, because I always want to make sure when I get opportunity people know this, is that is done with intentionality. And what I mean by that is, example, you guys being here today. So we had an event called More Money, More Impact. Y'all showed up at More Money, More Impact. I talked to you at More Money, More Impact. You told me about the organization, the things that you guys were doing. You guys also showed up at the prayer breakfast. And we talked again at the prayer breakfast, right? And then from there, fast forward a little bit more conversation, you're on the podcast and you get a grant, right? So it's not sitting on your hands,
Right.
waiting for something to come to you, waiting for something to happen. Is y'all getting out there, putting yourself in places to make those things happen, right? And I think that's what we always got to be familiar with. We can trust God is going to do what He's going to do.
Absolutely.
But as Dwan always says, you got to do your part too.
You do.
Right? And so I just want to commend that and lift you guys up for doing your part at such a young age. Because I wouldn't have been in More Money, More Impact. If I was y'all age, I wouldn't have been there.
You would have. Ken, like, so we crack jokes on each other and crack jokes on ourselves, but Ken started the organization when he was in college.
Really?
Right? And that lasted long after he
Still exists.
got kicked out. No, Ken did graduate. But he started an organization that I actually ran into some young men that was a part of the organization by happenstance. When I say ran into them, I literally ran into them. I crashed into the back of their really nice Camaro.
Oh, for real?
Yes, for real. But I told you about that, right?
Yeah, I remember
right?
you told me. Yeah.
And the young men were part of the organization then. So that 10, 15 years later, or maybe even longer than that. But so I say that to say that while he's saying he would not have been, if he wouldn't have been in more money and more impact, he would have still been giving, because that's who he is. That's who you all are. It sounds like that's who your parents are, your siblings are. So like, we are happy to be able to share this platform with you.
We appreciate
celebrate Black History Month with you as
Absolutely.
well. And look forward to 20 years later and after that, being able to hopefully not run into anybody.
Please.
But
Nobody's a
cross
nice
paths with
Nicely.
people that have benefited from the work that you all are putting in today.
Absolutely.
I mean, my hat is off to you. Got any more questions?
Yeah, I think we talked. So, with you guys reimagining the Austin Foundation and giving it a new start, what has been your proudest moment? It's come from working with young people, or just period? What has been one of your proudest moments with the organization?
I think the interaction with the students has been the proudest moments. Like because we've been working out, our first pilot program was out at Chandler Park, and we were working with the high school seniors there. And when they email us back and they're like, hey, thank you guys so much for coming out. We really enjoyed it. This is X, Y, and Z reason why I loved it. For me, as like an educator, I don't know, it just makes me feel like, dang, what you're really doing is making an impact on those students, and it's really leaving them with something, especially when when we did the simulation with the students. Because the way I set the simulation up was, the students said that they wanted to get an apartment, right? So I said, okay, well, let's fill out an apartment application. I got them a Michigan rental application. We had them go, everybody, so all of the siblings, we were all different departments.
Okay.
Kevin was.
I like that.
I was
I like
the
that.
Secretary of State.
I was the bank. Austin was the bank. Somebody else was the Secretary of State. Somebody else was the HR and payroll office. So you had your little folder of events, because my mom always told me, whenever you're an adult, you need to have a folder of important documents, right? So a part of everybody's folder, I said, well, you get your license, and then you get your payroll, your pay stub, and then you got to go pick up your different documents that you need, right? So as the students grabbed all of their documents, it was so funny, because as they were filling out the apartment application, they were like, I really don't know what being an adult actually looks like. So to see,
Then some of them were like, well, I'm going to stay home.
Yeah,
I'm not getting.
I'm not going to get an apartment.
I'm not doing
Just
that.
they didn't want to fill out the virtual imaginary application. They'd rather just still stay at home.
Yep.
exactly. And I was taking my information from when I was in college. So I took my payroll statement from when I had a job on campus, and I just changed it out, with like templated information. We got a bank statement from online. So I gave them like actual documents.
Okay.
So to see them like experience that, it was a good thing to see, but also to watch them really understand what it means to go through that. I was like, okay, well, we really doing it for real. We gonna keep on. And as we're continuing to build these, we're gonna make sure that they are like simulation and role playing type scenarios, so they're really walking away with something.
Love it. And I guess following that up, what's been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome?
Besides working with Cydney.
What I do?
Kevin.
What I do? Is it me?
It's okay. You'll learn.
Okay.
But the biggest challenge I would have to say is definitely our age.
Yes.
I just don't. I don't understand why it's our age, but it's just our age. People see us and they just like, well, maybe they're not taking it serious. I don't know why they're here. They're in this space. So the age really just plays a major factor in being in this space and in these roles. It's actually crazy. Some people get jealous and are like, it's a lot. So the age plays a major role in this and being in this role.
Interesting. That you mention it, I can see it. You know what I mean? Now that you mention, when I think of my peers and how, they can, these young folks, they ain't putting no work in. You know what I mean? Trying to come in this space, where it's like, instead of just embracing the fact that you come with a whole new set of ideas, fresh from what you just did, right?
Fresh. So. Yeah, they're not really happy with us. So being able to navigate that space is very, very interesting too.
So if there are some of our viewers that are in that space that are as old as Ken, say, how could they help you? What would you recommend they do that could be able to make that a little bit better for you all?
I think the communication, sometimes they're just mean, and I'm just like, what did I do? I could just tell, like being in the corporate space, I could kind of tell where the relationship is going. But for folks who hasn't entered that space, you don't necessarily know how to navigate. So I would just say, just be a little bit nicer in the communication style, because you're not the nicest when you're saying these things. Like, you're starting off nice, but you really have a different undertone with you. And I can sense the undertone. Okay. So please don't be mean, please.
Kevin, you got anything to add to that?
I would just say, come with an open mind.
Okay.
Just leave whatever is wrong with you at home.
That's good.
Communication is important. I think we communicated with y'all well. I mean, besides.
And we appreciate
telling
that.
you where to sit, spit out your gum.
Right.
And take off your shades. Other than that.
Okay, I'm in church. Let me sit up. I'm so sorry.
We communicated with y'all pretty well.
I feel like the gum should have been said at first instead of the glass.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
But the communication is really the biggest thing, that I've just seen in the space. Folks are just, I don't know what it's been over the last few months, the few years, is that, like Kevin was saying, people aren't taking you as serious because you are so young. And then even as you have gotten that footing, people are still like, okay, well, what are you trying to do? So it's like, how many times do I have to show myself or prove myself to you all? Like, what else? I got the 2 degrees. Like, what else would y'all want me to do for real? Like, so that's kind of where we are.
2 degrees and a heart to serve. Yep. Right? That's huge. Well, again, we commend y'all for the work that y'all doing. Again, thank y'all for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you for having us.
No doubt. Well, that is this episode of Speak for Yourself. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Please hit that like, subscribe button. We out. Peace.
This week's ad is brought to you by Melody of Comfort. Prepare to join us in celebrating, sipping, shopping, and showing your support for local entrepreneurs who are making a difference in the industry. Come join Melody of Comfort on Friday, March 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m. at the K Walker store, located on 4161 Cass Avenue in Detroit. Again, that's Friday, March 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m. at the K Walker store, located on 4161 Cass Avenue. See you there.